Hello everyone, Carson the Sudgered Engine here, and this is a video of my Thomas and Friends DVD collection. So please enjoy. It's been a long time since my DVD collection, my last one, which was January 2020. So let's get started. Here we have Thomas Gets Tricked, first Thomas episodes ever, told by Ringo Starr. He was like the first Thomas narrator in history. Stories are Thomas Gets Tricked, Edward Helps Out, Come Out Henry, Henry to the Rescue, A Big Day for Thomas, Trouble for Thomas, Trouble for Thomas, and Thomas Saves the Day. Sorry, just got it's right there. And sing-along song that plays right after all the stories at the very end, Come for the Ride. And since it's this DVD having the first Thomas episodes ever, Come for the Ride, that's pretty much a very wise decision to put a song like that in. Here's James Learns a Lesson, also told by Ringo Starr, or narrated by Ringo Starr. Because after Thomas Gets Tricked, those are the continuing stories of Thomas and Friends, which are James Learns a Lesson, Foolish Freight Cars, A Proud Day for James, Thomas and the Conductor, Thomas Goes Fishing, Terrence the Tractor, and Thomas and Bertie's Great Race. Sing-along song that plays at the very end, Thomas's Anthem, also known as Thomas We Love You. Here's A Big Day for Thomas, which is just a collection of stories being reused for other stories or something. Okay, anyway, so stories are A Big Day for Thomas, Percy Runs Away, Thomas Breaks the Rules, Henry's Special Call, The Flying Kipper, Trouble for Thomas, and Toby the Tram Engine. And sing-along songs, Toby and Sir Topham Hatt. I kind of like how both the songs play right after the stories. Here's 10 years of Thomas and Friends to celebrate 10 years of Thomas and Friends being in America, because TV series Shining Time Station its first episode was released in America by Britt Allcroft in 1989, so this was released in 1999. So if you really think about it, it's more 15 years of Thomas and Friends on TV. This is just Thomas's 10th anniversary in America. And the greatest stories are Thomas and Bertie's Great Race, Old Iron, The Trouble with Mud, Terrence the Tractor, Percy's Ghostly Trick, Mavis, Henry and the Elephant. I forgot the word and. I don't know if I said that last time. Percy's Promise, James Goes Buzz Buzz, and All at Sea. And sing-along song, Thomas's Anthem, grand finale. And aside from 10 years of Thomas, greatest stories right there, that's the only other one that has the grand finale version of Thomas's Anthem. And continuing, here's Trust Thomas and Other Stories. And aside from Trust Thomas, there's Mavis, Toby's Tightrope, No Joke for James, Percy's Promise, Henry's Forest, and The Trouble with Mud. Sing-along song, Harold the Helicopter. Here's one of my favorites, Thomas and His Friends Help Out. Stories are Edward Helps Out, Foolish Freight Cars, Thomas, Percy and the Mail Train, Thomas Breaks the Rules, Down the Mine, Percy's Promise, Trouble in the Shed, Donald and Douglas, Saved from Scrap, Bertie's Chase, and Thomas and Percy's Mountain Adventure. Did I say Trouble in the Shed? Or maybe I left that part out. Just another one of my favorites. DVDs I remember watching when I was little. Thomas's Halloween Adventures. Stories are Scaredy Engines, Haunted Henry, Thomas Gets Tricked, Thomas, Percy and the Dragon, Diesel's Devious Deed, Percy's Ghostly Trick. And right before these stories right here, we have the sing-along song that plays after Percy's Ghostly Trick, Boo Boo Choo Choo. And after that, there's the continuing stories are Toby's Discovery, Gordon and the Gremlin, The Fogman, Bad Day at Castle Lock, and Percy and the Haunted Mine. And after that, it's engine roll call. Thomas Gets Bumped and Other Adventures. Story stops. Thomas Gets Bumped, Edward, Trevor, and the Really Useful Party, Diesel Does It Again, Gordon and the Famous Visitor, Donald's Duck, Percy and the Signal, and Thomas, Percy, and the Mail Train. Sing-along song, Accidents Will Happen. That's another good song to go with a story like Thomas Gets Bumped. Here's Thomas and his friends get along. Stories are Old Iron, James in a Mess, Duck Takes Charge, Down the Mine, The Runaway, Better Late Than Never, Tenders and Turntables, Percy Proves a Point, Trust Thomas, and Percy and the Signal. And sing-along song, which is in the bonus feature, Thomas's Anthem from James Learns a Lesson. It's not really part of the main feature, just something you go to the bonus feature for, like the season 5 DVDs right here. They each have 2 songs, but you have to go to the DVD menu if you want to watch and listen to them. Continuing, here is Percy Takes the Plunge and Other Thomas Adventures. It used to be called Daisy and Other Thomas Adventures because the story stops are Daisy, Percy's Predicament, Whistles and Sneezes, Saved from Scrap, A New Friend for Thomas, Tender Engines, and Percy Takes the Plunge. And sing-along song, which is also in the bonus feature section, Let's Have a Race, like season 5 DVDs right there, and Thomas and his friends get along. So when this was re-released from VHS to DVD, the VHS version says Daisy and Other Stories, but DVD versions here says Percy Takes the Plunge. And even though it doesn't say and Other Stories, I like to think of it as Thomas and Friends, Percy Takes the Plunge and Other Adventures. Same thing with Henry and the Elephant right here, because it used to be called The Gallant Old Engine and Other Thomas Stories when it was on VHS. And I like to think of it as Henry and the Elephant and Other Thomas Stories. And stories are Henry and the Elephant, You Can't Win, Special Attraction, Passengers and Polish, Gallant Old Engine, and Fish. And sing-along song, which is part of the main feature, Really Useful Engine. Here's sing-along and stories, just VHS and DVD version, it has the same name, just even though it says hop on board, songs and stories, it's still sing-along and stories. And the stories are, did I say stories? I meant to say songs. And the songs are Thomas's Anthem, Let's Have a Race, Gone Fishing, then the story stopped right after that, which is Peter, Sam, and the Refreshment Lady, continuing songs, Toby and Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover, and the second story stop after that, Bulldog. Then the finishing songs, The Island Song, and Really Useful Engine. And we have a bonus song on the DVD release, which is It's Great to Be an Engine. Just open this up for a second. That's the DVD version right there. That's a CD version. So let's go back here. The CD includes the engine roll call, Let's Have a Race, Toby, the Island Song, and Really Useful Engine. Here's the second sing-along Thomas DVD, Thomas's trackside tunes. And the tunes are Donald's Duck, Sir Topham Hatt, Come for the Ride, Story Stop, Gordon and the Gremlin, continuing songs, Harold the Helicopter, Percy's Seaside Trip, and Accidents Will Happen. And Story Stop right after that, to finish it all off, Trucks, also known as Rusty Helps Peter Sam, just it's known as Trucks in Thomas's trackside tunes. Hooray for Thomas and Other Adventures, Story Stops, Hooray for Thomas, Edward's Brass Band, The Refreshment Ladies Stand, Rheneas and the Roller Coaster, The Grand Opening, and Best Dressed Engine. Sing-along song, The Red Balloon. That's part of the main feature, in case some people were wondering. Pretty much most songs are part of the main feature. Just there are some songs that don't have their songs in the main feature. Thomas and the Really Brave Engines, which is another one of my favorites. Thomas and the Search for Fergus, Bad Day at Castle Walk, Toby and the Windmill, The Runaway Elephant, James and the Queen of Sodor, and Oliver the Snow Engine. Sing-along song, Troublesome Trucks, which is a really good song. Okay, let's do this one. Oh, good. Here are all the Season 5 DVDs that I was talking about earlier. And like I said, their songs aren't really part of the main feature. You have to go to the DVD menu to listen to them. And first off, like first Season 5 DVD, Thomas and Friends, Cranky Bugs, and Other Stories. And besides Cranky Bugs, we have Lady Hat's Birthday Party, Double Teething Troubles, Thomas, Percy, and Old Slow Coach, Busy Going Backwards, and A Better View for Gordon. And the two sing-alongs are Toby and Donald's Duck. Here's Races, Rescues, and Runaways. And all the Races, Rescues, and Runaways in here are Toby and the Flood, Put Upon Percy, Horrid Laurie, By George, Something in the Air, and Oliver's Fine. Sing-along songs, Come for the Ride, and Accidents Will Happen. Spills and Chills, and Other Thomas Thrills. All the spills and chills in here are Toby's Discovery, Rusty and the Boulder, Duncan Gets Spooked, Stepney Gets Lost, Haunted Henry, and Sir Topham Hatt's Holiday. Sing-along songs, Night Train, and Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining. Out of all DVDs, Spills and Chills is the only DVD that has Night Train. Well, Night Train is in Cranky Bugs, but it's in the VHS version. Final Season 5 DVD, Make Someone Happy and Other Adventures. And after Make Someone Happy, there's A Big Surprise for Percy, Happy Ever After, Thomas and the Rumors, James and the Trouble with Trees, and Bah, or Bah. Just trying to sound like a goat, like a ram or something. Just sound like a goat. Sing-along songs, It's Great to Be an Engine, and Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining. Season 6 DVDs, like here's Salty Secret and Other Thomas Adventures. Just give you guys a look at them. Story stops are Salty Secret, Harvey to the Rescue, No Sleep for Cranky, The Fogmen, A Bad Day for Harold, and Elizabeth the Vintage Quarry Truck. And sing-along song, not part of the main feature, James the Really Splendid Engine. And I think it should be part of the main feature. Instead, it's just like these DVDs right here. Songs the hard part of the main feature. Like these two right here. Their songs are part of the main feature. Percy's Chocolate Crunch and other Thomas adventures. Percy's Chocolate Crunch, Thomas, Percy, and the Squeak. Gordon Takes a Tumble, Buffer Bother, Middle Engine, and Faulty Whistles. Even though it says whistle right there. Like when you're watching Faulty Whistles, the name that pops up is Faulty Whistles with an S at the end. So yeah, the name is Faulty Whistles, not Faulty Whistle. And sing-along song, Little Engines. Like I said, it's part of the main feature, the song, Little Engines. Here's James and the Red Balloon and Other Thomas Adventures. Another one of my favorites. James and the Red Balloon, Twin Trouble, Edward the Really Useful Engine, The World's Strongest Engine, Rusty Saves the Day, and Duncan. Sing-along song, another great song in a DVD like this, Down by the Docks, because Thomas and Percy are at the docks right there. I just thought I'd let you all see that. Okay, so what's next? Here's Thomas's Sodor Celebration. Celebrates 60 years of Thomas and Friends. Yeah, it was 60 years. Sorry, I thought I got it mixed up. Like, aside from that, there was the 2005 movie, Calling All Engines, and songs from the station right here. That one's next. So stories in Thomas's Sodor Celebration are Thomas Saves the Day, Don't Tell Thomas, and right after Don't Tell Thomas, learning segment, Percy pulls out of the station, continuing stories, Fish, Halloween, sing-along song, Surprises, Spick and Span, Chickens to School, second learning segment, Being Blue, and Thomas and the Circus. And here is Songs from the Station, which is not only a 60-year Thomas and Friends DVD, it's also the final Thomas and Friends DVD, song DVD, to be released in the US. I mean, after sing-along and stories, there's Thomas's trackside tunes, then it all decide to end at Songs from the Station. And songs from the station are Sounds, Emily, Story Stop, Thomas and the Tuba, Surprises, A World Around You, Determination, Story Stop, Thomas and the Firework Display, Patience is a Virtue, Ode to Gordon, and Engine Roll Call. And some games like Thomas's Great Destinations of Sodor and Songs of Sodor game. And has a read-along story like, can't really remember unless I'm in the main features DVD menu or something. Here's Track Stars. And I'm gonna say all the songs, learning all the stories, learning segments, and song in chronological order or something, which is just how the main feature is. First story, Thomas gets it right. Learning segment, Guess the Engine. That engine is James. We've all pretty much watched Track Stars enough to realize that Guess the Engine, and it's James. Emily's New Route, sing-along song, Emily, also known as There's No One Quite Like Emily. Percy's Big Mistake, learning segment, Helping One Another, As Good as Gordon, learning segment, Thomas, Which Way Should Thomas and Emily Go? They share the track. James Gets a New Coat, learning segment, Truck Trouble, and Thomas, Emily, and the Snowplow. That's all I'm gonna say for other DVDs like Thomas's Milkshake Muddle and Carnival Capers. And speaking of Thomas's Milkshake Muddle, stories, learning segments, and songs, Thomas's New Trucks, Thomas's new trucks, learning segment, learning segment, Thomas and the Shape Bridge, Duncan and the Old Mine, learning segment, what makes Thomas happiest, Thomas's milkshake muddle, sing-along song, Pride, also known as Whatever We Do, Mighty Mac, which is Mighty Mac's first appearance right there, after Mighty Mac, learning segment, job destinations, Gordon, Mavis, and Percy find out which job they're doing. Toby feels left out. Learning segment, what route should Thomas take? And Thomas and the new engine, where we meet Neville right there. Sorry, got mixed up right there. Thomas and the Toy Workshop, another one of my favorites, because out of all season 9 DVDs, I think I was pretty much the youngest when I watched this one. And stories are Thomas and the Statue, Henry and the Flagpole, Bold and Brave, Sing-Along Song, Be Brave, also known as Brave Little Engine, Thomas and the Toy Workshop, Percy and the Oil Painting, and Thomas and the Rainbow. This is one of the DVDs that only has a song besides the stories, like no learning segments at all. Okay, now we're doing Carnival Capers right here. And like I did with Track Stars and Thomas's Milkshake Muddle, Percy and the Carnival learning segment, Who's Under the Coal Dust, and we all watched it enough to make enough times to find out that it's Emily. Thomas and the Birthday Mail learning segment, Which Job for Rosie, a smooth ride, sing-along song, There's Always Something New, also known as Old and New, The Green Controller learning segment, Which Friend is in Which Shed, Edward Strikes Out learning segment, Right-Sized Engine for the Job, like find out if it's Harvey or Rocky, like what jobs are good for them. And finally, Thomas's Frosty Friend. I know that some people don't really like Edward Strikes Out or Thomas's Frosty Friend, but one thing that I learned from Big Time Rush right here is that they're just haters, and the only way to beat haters is to ignore them. So y'all can say whatever you want about Edward Strikes Out and Thomas's Frosty Friend, but they have to bring some childhood memories back to me. That's your last one. Okay, continuing. Thomas and Friends, Mud Glorious Mud, which is probably a mixed DVD of all the seasons, including Jack and the Pack, the Sodor Construction Company. We'll get to that over there. It's in a double feature, the two Jack and the Pack DVDs in a double feature together. So stories in Mud Glorious Mud are Edward the Really Useful Engine, Thomas and the Avalanche, also known as Not So Hasty Cakes, but it's known as Thomas and the Avalanche in here, Sing-Along Song, Day and Night, Missing Cars from Season 10, Mud Glorious Mud from Jack and the Pack, second sing-along song, Togetherness, A Friend in Need from Season 6, and Edward, Trevor, and the Really Useful Party, which is Season 3 from Thomas Gets Bumped. And it says 3 sing-along songs. We all know what the final song is. Engine roll call. Here is Engines and Escapades, which is the only full season 11 DVD. The only DVD where all episodes are from season 11, like Carnival Capers right there. All of its episodes are from season 10. It's the only one that where all of its episodes are from season 10. So, Engines and Escapades focused on the narrow gauge engines, which in the song and the episodes are Duncan Does It All, Sir Handel, Duncan Does It All, Sir Handel in Charge, Cool Truckings, Sing-Along Song, The Narrow Gauge Engines, Ding-a-Ling, Skarloey Storms Through, and Wash Behind Your Buffers. Bonus feature right there, Fireman Sam, fiery finale. I used to watch Fireman Sam, but things like that, and Barney and Bob the Builder, I've grown out of that. Like, I'm all Thomas now. Since Thomas is part of my childhood most of all. And I say it's more meant for people my age than Bob, Barney, and Fireman Sam. Okay, so here are all my double features. Since I was just talking about this one right here, we'll start off with this one. On Site with Thomas and Other Adventures and Thomas's Trusty Friends. Stories in On Site with Thomas. We have A Visit from Thomas, Jack Owens Up, On Site with Thomas, Sing-Along Song, The Work Song, Percy's Scary Tale, Kelly's Windy Day, and A Happy Day for Percy. Then the second Jack in the Pack DVD, Thomas's Trusty Friends. And aside from Thomas's Trusty Friends, we have Alfie Has Kittens, A Tale for Thomas, Sing-Along Song, One Friendly Family, Percy Helps Out, The Tortoise and the Hare, and Thomas and the Moles. And out of all DVDs, these are the ones that have the Good Morning Thomas and Good Night Thomas segment, which started in the season 9 PBS airings. Like, as I said in my last video, I don't know about adding that to my PBS airings. But continuing. Excuse me, just let me put my phone down for a second. Yeah, sorry, just had to get a drink of water, because doing collection videos were DVD videos, like when you have to say all the episodes, learning segments, and songs that are included in here, it can make you thirsty. And continuing, my second double feature, James Goes Buzz Buzz, and Thomas and the Special Letter. Now let me all tell you something, like, notice that this one just says 2 DVDs, and these two right here says 2 DVDs in one. So let me open this. There's On Site with Thomas, and there's Thomas's Trusty Friends, like 2 DVD discs. Even though it says Thomas's Trusty Friends and On Site with Thomas, I like having it in the order that it came when I ordered it off of eBay. On Site with Thomas, then Thomas's Trusty Friends, because that's how they were released in order. That order. James Goes Buzz Buzz and Thomas and the Special Letter. Only 1 disc, and it says side A, like when you play it on the side it's in now, you get James Goes Buzz Buzz, but when you flip it over and play it, you get Thomas and the Special Letter. Stories in James Goes Buzz Buzz are James Goes Buzz Buzz, One Good Turn, Birdie's Chase, Heroes, Bulgy, Wrong Road, Percy, James and the Fruitful Day, and sing-along song included in the DVD version, The Island Song, Thomas and the Special Letter and Other Adventures. We have Thomas and the Special Letter, Home at Last, Rock and Roll, Steamroller, Toad Stands By, Bowled Out. And sing-along song, Don't judge a book by its cover. Final DVD, Thomas and the Treasure, and Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon. And when I said Carnival Capers is the only DVD that has all episodes are from season 10, this one has 6 like Carnival Capers, but only 4 are from season 10, while the 2 are the final 2 from season 9 that were released on DVD. Thomas and the Treasure, and aside from Thomas and the Treasure episode, we have Duncan's Bluff, Sing-Along Song, Strength, Skarloey the Brave, Big Strong Henry, Thomas's Day Off, and seeing the sights. And seeing the sights. Don't know why I repeat myself sometimes. Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon, and other stories. And other stories are Donald and Douglas, The Deputation, Time for Trouble, A Scarf for Percy, The Diseasel, and Edward's Exploit. Sing-along song, Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining. That's it. Another good song for Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon. Here are the final Thomas and Friends model DVDs. Like after this one right here, Engine Friends, it was all CGI after that in 2011. So, celebrating 65 years of Thomas and Friends, we have Thomas and Friends, The Greatest Stories. And the greatest stories are Thomas Gets Tricked, Edward Helps Out, Diesel's Devious Deed, Percy's Ghostly Trick, Thomas, Percy, and the Dragon, Trust Thomas, Henry and the Elephant, Cranky Bugs, Cranky Bugs, Snow Engine, Thomas Saves the Day, Edward the Great, James Gets a New Coat, Thomas to the Rescue, Thomas and the Birthday Picnic, Emily Knows Best, Percy and the Carnival, Thomas and the Birthday Mail, Sir Handel in Charge, Skarloey Storms Through, and Duncan Does It All. And it has like 8 sing-along songs. And I said one of them was Thomas's Anthem, Grand Finale. Aside from that, there's also Really Useful Engine, James Learns a Lesson, Harold the Helicopter, Percy's Seaside Trip, maybe Accidents Will Happen. I'm sorry, I just can't really remember all of them. Like I remember all stories it has. The final model DVD, Thomas and Friends, Engine Friends. And the 20 great stories are Thomas and Bertie's Great Race, Trouble in the Shed, Save from Scrap, A New Friend for Thomas, Grandpuff, Sleeping Beauty, Make Someone Happy, A Bad Day for Harold, Twin Trouble, Edward the Really Useful Engine, Rusty Saves the Day, Emily's New Coaches, Thomas and the Rainbow, Thomas and the New Engine, Thomas and the Statue, Follow That Flower, Toby's Afternoon Off, Edward Strikes Out, Hide and Peep, and Emily and the Garbage. Here are my DVD sets. 6 DVD set, Thomas and Friends, Adventure on the Tracks. And these are all the 6 DVDs here. Whew. Okay, so DVD 1, Thomas and the Jet Engine and Other Adventures, Thomas and the Jet Engine, Percy and the Haunted Mine, Scaredy Engines, Harold and the Flying Horse, Bulgy Rides Again, Salty's Stormy Tale, and sing-along song, Boo Boo Choo Choo, Percy's Ghostly Trick and Other Stories, sing-along song that plays right before the stories, Thomas's Anthem, Percy's Ghostly Trick, Woolly Bear, Thomas and Percy's Mountain Adventure, Escape, Oliver Owns Up, All at Sea, Thomas Comes to Breakfast and Other Adventures, Thomas Comes to Breakfast, Pop Goes the Diesel, Diesel's Devious Deed, A Close Shave for Duck, Gordon Takes a Dip, Double Trouble, A Cow on the Line, Trouble in the Shed, and sing-along song, Little Engines from Percy's Chocolate Crunch, Rusty to the Rescue and Other Thomas Stories, Grandpuff, Sleeping Beauty, A Bad Day for Sir Handel, Rusty Helps Peter Sam, Rusty to the Rescue, Thomas and Stepney, and sing-along song Gone Fishing. Steamies versus Diesels, another one of my favorites. And doing that in order: stories, learning segments, and songs. Thomas to the Rescue, learning segment, Steamies and Diesel sounds. Henry and the Wishing Tree, learning segment, Job Destinations, Thomas, Toby, and James. Sing-along song, sounds, squeak, rattle, and roll. Learning segment, Guess the Engine, and it's Emily. and Percy's New Whistle. And finally, Percy Saves the Day and Other Adventures. Percy Gets It Right, Something Fishy, What's the Matter with Henry, The Old Bridge, Trusty Rusty, Bill, Ben, and Fergus, and sing-along song, There Once Was an Engine Who Ran Away. Then the 4 DVDs said, Let's Explore with Thomas, Calling All Engines, like I discussed it with Thomas' Sodor Celebration, and Songs from the Station. Those 3 are the 60-year anniversary DVDs. So Calling All Engines, that's the Thomas and Friends movie of 2005. Those are all the bonus features. It has some learning segments and songs. Songs that are busy, trying to do things better, and together we made it happen. And learning segments like how are Steamies and Diesels different? Which line should Thomas take to get to the suspension bridge? Which engine should work with which diesel? Where can Thomas find Mavis? Yeah, it just has some learning segments and songs that play within the movie like that, since it's just a big old story. Now, continuing with Come Ride the Rails, stories, learning segments, and songs. Molly's Special, learning segment, Getting to the Washdown, Respect for Gordon, learning segment, Being Kind, Emily Knows Best, sing-along song, Buffer Up and Share, Saving Edward, learning segment, Thomas, Rheneas and the Dinosaur, learning segment, Emily Respects, and Thomas and the Golden Eagle. Tales from the Tracks, Thomas and the Birthday Picnic, learning segment, What Does Toby See? Flower Power, learning segment, Cool Down Delivery, The Magic Lamp, learning segment, What Goes Where, sing-along song, Every Day's a Special Day on Sodor, Keeping Up with James, learning segment, James, Tootful Toots, and Thomas Tries His Best. And finally, It's Great to Be an Engine. Another one of my favorites. I just like saying that it's just one of my favorites. When it comes to a DVD, that's one of my favorites. Too Hot for Thomas, Emily's Adventure, learning segment, Edward, You Can Do It Toby, Gordon Takes Charge, sing-along song, A World Around You, Edward the Great, James Goes Too Far, learning segment, Henry Huffs Out of the Station, and Percy and the Magic Carpet. Now, one final DVD that I'm doing for this video, like I've just decided that I'm up to 40 minutes after going through all of these DVDs right here, all of the model series. Well, not all of the model series, still have some models in my Christmas DVDs, like Holiday Express and Ultimate Christmas, but I'll get to those in the next video, which will be coming up. So right before Calling All Engines in 2005, this is the first Thomas and Friends movie, Thomas and the Magic Railroad, starring Alec Baldwin as Mr. Conductor. Also stars Peter Fonda, Mara Wilson. Little Engines Can Do Big Things. Was released in 2000. And I have to be honest, this is the best Thomas and Friends movie. I mean, aside from other DVDs like The Adventure Begins and other movies like The Adventure Begins and Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, I'd say that this one is just my favorite Thomas and Friends movie. Yeah. So that is all I'm going to go through. Like, I'll go through all the CGI Thomas and Friends DVDs and movies over there, and my Christmas ones, when I see you all in part 2 of my DVD collection.